I hear your take on fucking Rogue One. Because you've watched it. I haven't watched it. I saw it one time. I saw it once. I refused to watch it again because it was, from what I could tell, it was butchered in the editing suite.
They do a lot right in the movie. Mm-hmm. I think we always wanted to see the intrigue portion of the Rebel Alliance.
Right. What did the Bothan spies look like? Is the question that the movie's answering.
Yeah, no, not necessarily that, but like, you know, there are stories to be.
Not necessarily that, but not that.
Yeah. Okay. Listen.
Well, it's weird. Like,
smart guy.
A lot of stuff pre New Hope, post Return of the or Revenge of the Sith is like Death Star related, like Death Star focused, and like I don't like that.
I agree.
Like the Thrawn book that I'm reading right now, it's all like it ends up being.
Is he
Death
trying
Star.
to build a Death Star?
He's trying. He essentially finds out they're building the Death Star. Like, the whole book is about, like, they're taking this metal, and the metal is the metal that they use to build the Death Star, and it's one of these people realizes the metal is going somewhere in excess amounts than normal, and that's, like, it's going to build the Death Star. So, it's like, Jesus Christ.
From A New Hope.
Right, because the Thrawn book is situated after Revenge of the Sith, but before A New Hope. It's just like, I'm sick of the Death Star. Like, fuck off with the Death Star shit. That was the other thing with Thrawn, is he shows up in the prequel stuff, essentially, now. He's not even post original trilogy.
Right. Well, no, because he is canon because he was mentioned in The Mandalorian.
Right. No, he is canon now because they reintroduced him because they retconned all the books out of existence.
Oh, I see. Okay, but before that occurred, it was like since Disney took over, that book that came out was like, here it is actually now. We're like,
right.
What you read in Heir to the Emperor, all that shit, none of that matters anymore.
Right. That was the big deal.
But we like that guy.
Book. Right. That was the thing. That was the thing with the Thrawn book was like they were saying like he was such a big enough character in the extended stuff before. Let's introduce him in our new universe we're building, sort of from scratch.
Right.
Yeah. No,
I mean, you know, the name of the Coruscant is from the extended universe. You know, like so. You know, people are just picking and choosing, I guess.
Well, that was the thing, yeah. It's like
a galactic salad bar.
Right. Some things are legends, some things aren't. But what is funny is this movie that we're about to talk about features an actor who is in a lot of Disney, Disney operating as Marvel Studios. Mr. Vin Diesel, now not known for doing roles like this one. Boy, howdy. Is Vin Diesel known for anything like this, Father Malone?
I've never seen him in a role such as this one.
No. Well, it was a good one. That have you seen Creepshow though?
Have I seen what?
Creepshow? Because I've seen Creepshow.
You know what, dickhead?
It's just like, just fucking leave me alone.
You want to start the podcast this way? All right.
God. But on this episode of the Culture Cast, Father Malone of You've Never Seen and Dark Destinations podcast fame is joining me to talk about Find Me Guilty, a film featuring Vin Diesel acting and a hairpiece just lying there.
Never lost the case. You're all going down.
The men you see before you have engaged in all sorts of criminal activities.
20 defendants, 76 counts, at least 4 prosecutors, tapes, surveillance videos.
Mr. DiNorscio, you're on.
Hi, I'm Jackie DiNorscio. I'm defending myself in this case. I'm going to be my own lawyer.
Have you had any legal experience?
I've been in prison half my life. Sometimes I think I had too much legal experience. What do I need with the lawyers?
It's not just you. They get one of you for spitting on the sidewalk and all of you can go down.
It looks to me like he's hurting us. I'm separating him from the case.
It's not up to you.
You want to bet?
The Brunos want you dead.
Those guys love me, man.
Love you? Puts 4 bullets in you and he loves you?
Yeah, he loves me.
Now cut your heart out.
I want to offer a deal.
I rather my friends.
You have no friends.
You know what the 2 best words in the English language are? Things change. Do you know that this government offered me a deal to lie about these men?
Objection!
Jackie D don't rat.
One of the lady jurors said he was cute.
What is wrong with these people?
isn't the real reason you're testifying here because I refuse sexual advances from you to me. You want to suck on this instead? Do you feel that the prosecutor was right?
Jackie! You swing at him in this courthouse, this case is over.
Don't take it out on my friends here.
We're gonna go traveling and have us a fling.
And find me guilty.
You just wait and see.
How do I look? Good?
Nothing but the best is good enough.
May I have a sidebar? I ordered creamy peanut butter and they brought me chunky.
This isn't my department.
Nothing but the best is good enough for me.
So the film is directed by Sidney Lumet, which, you know, elevates it past probably where it would have been in the hands of someone else. And yeah, it stars Vin Diesel as Jackie DiNorscio, a real-life gangster who really did represent himself in court against some RICO case stuff. All kinds of fun late 80s mafia shit, a.k.a. the time Rudy Giuliani turned all them mobsters into rats. The rats were all jumping off the boat. We'll talk all about it. Father Malone, you have seen The Sopranos, which means there will be some Sopranos talk on this episode because there are a lot of people from The Sopranos in this fucking movie.
Everyone in this cast, in some way, one way or another, was on The Sopranos.
Yeah, it's wild. You've got, let's see, we've got the guy who plays Hesh. There's also the guy who plays the guy who plays the lawyer, Melvoin, in The Sopranos, is just, you know, playing a lawyer here.
Yes.
God, I'm trying to think of some other ones.
Annabella
Sciorra, yeah. Gina, is it? No. What the fuck is her character's name? God, I was literally talking about it earlier when we were talking about her character. God damn it, I don't remember. But she was the woman that Tony has, I guess, the woman that's essentially his mother, younger in the show. That's kind of what they always are leaning at, right? It's like, your mother, yeah. I'm trying to think who else. Alex Rocco's not in The Sopranos somehow.
Should have been.
Or he should have been. He's not, but he should have been.
Yeah.
And Vin Diesel is in this movie. He's not in The Sopranos, but boy.
He is in this one.
Yeah, right. So, Father Malone, I'm curious, what's your take on Vin Diesel? Because you and I have never talked about him. Not that we've really had an opportunity, because we don't talk about Marvel movies, and that's or Fast and the Furious movies. So
and you'd have to talk very specifically when it came to the Marvel movies. And her character's name was
Gloria Trillo from The Sopranos.
It was what?
Gloria Trillo. She worked at the BMW.
Oh right,
yeah.
Yeah, I liked her. She was
great.
Vin Diesel. Okay. Trying to think of the first time I actually saw Vin Diesel in a performance in anything. And when did Boiler Room come out?
Like 2001, 99?
Was it before or after Saving Private Ryan?
Boiler Room was 2000. So it was 98 was Saving Private Ryan. So Saving Private Ryan's kind of like his first role, yeah? I guess.
Pretty much. I'm sure he had done
is technically
something.
His role before that. But then
there you go.
His first film is 97, but then next film is Saving Private Ryan. So, and then you know what his third role was?
After Boiler Room?
No, after Saving Private Ryan.
Third role, Pitch Black.
Iron Giant.
Oh, Iron Giant. Wow.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
Okay. So this particular period of time that we're talking about, I was very interested in Vin Diesel as an actor. He seemed very interesting.
Yeah.
He had the presence, like kind of couldn't. He still has all this, obviously, but
I agree.
He does have the it factor, where you just want to watch him. So, in a film like Saving Private Ryan, in particular, which was an ensemble film, it was filled with a bunch of really good actors. Like I remember coming out of the movie and thinking like, well, who was that one guy? He was really good. We're going to see more from him. And so I saw that. And then when I saw him in Boiler Room, I thought like, oh, this guy's, he's sort of like paying off in the direction we were kind of hoping he was going in. And then, and I guess it was Triple X, right? Triple X came first. Or was it Fast and the Furious? It was Fast and the Furious and then Triple X, right?
No, yeah. So it was Fast and Furious was 01, and then Triple X was 02.
Oh, two. Okay.
And then Riddick was right after Boiler Room. So
that Pitch Black. Yeah.
2000.
Right see, and even
Fast
with Pitch Black, Pitch Black is like an action movie, but it's kind of a horror movie and sci-fi and alien-esque. And I like Pitch Black as a movie. It's a little preposterous overall, but there's some good stuff in it.
I've never seen.
Oh, you should check it out. Dave Toohey is an interesting.
I know a friend
writer.
Friend of the podcast, Mike White, is a fan as well. So comes highly
the first one.
recommended. I think he likes all of them. I think actually.
I like Pitch Black and I like the Chronicles of Riddick. I thought it was interesting and sort of fun and unusual, and I thought they were taking some interesting chances with it. But that third one, which is effectively a remake of Pitch Black, it's just I don't understand it. Anyway, so Vin Diesel for me had a lot of promise, and I thought he seemed to be working within different genres. I thought he was going to be a little bit more character actory than action star. But, obviously action star made him a billionaire. So
I was about to say, I bet Bruce Willis says the same thing. I love to be a character actor, but Die Hard pays the bills, baby.
Right, exactly. I think Vin Diesel is a better actor than Bruce Willis.
I don't think Vin Diesel has been given as many opportunities that Bruce Willis has to show off his dramatic acting chops.
I totally agree with that,
and that's a shame, given how good
once Vin Diesel went to Action Town, he sort of never came back, except for this one pause, the movie we're talking about, which. I don't know the story of how the production of the movie occurred. I'm guessing the movie got made because Vin Diesel said yes.
Yes.
In 2009, he was pretty goddamn star-rific at that point. After,
06. This movie came out in 06, so it's not even.
06.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I think Vin Diesel has been popular since 2000. Since Fast and the Furious.
Oh, yeah. Naturally, yeah.
That's the way I look at it. To your point, anytime after 2000, we've had Vin Diesel since 2000, essentially.
Yeah. And so I liked him early on, and then he kind of got into the action thing, and then he continued into the action thing, and then he kind of just kept going with the action thing, and then, action.
This movie, for whatever reason.
Yeah, and no, in this movie, okay, look, he is... miscast.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I actually, here's the thing. I think it's such a strange casting choice that it kind of, I think because Vin Diesel is so charismatic and because I think Vin Diesel is so charming, I think any amount of I think after maybe 5 to 10 minutes, I think it just kind of melts away and you're along for the ride. And I think that's the thing. If you're not able to get past Vin Diesel going, hey, I'm a wise guy. Hey, oh, gabagoo. It's kind of, it is. It's kind of like fucking the bullshit. Hey, gabagoo. It is. Yeah. But you know what? I've never seen Vin Diesel do it. And we'll probably never see him do it again. And if this is the one time, all right.
Okay. Look, I didn't say he gave a bad performance.
Sure, that's fair.
I did think he gave a really charming and decent performance. I think he avoided a lot of the things that you were just saying, as far as it's written into the script, the kind of character that he is. Hey, I'm from the neighborhood kind of guy.
He's the guy. He's Paulie Walnuts. He's kind of Paulie Walnuts, right?
He is, but I think
Remember When stories,
right. But he underplays those things wisely.
Right.
In a movie where a lot of people are allowed to not restrain themselves, let's say.
Boy, ain't that the truth.
Look, I'm sticking by what I said. I do think he's miscast. He's not right for this role. I agree with
the
character over and over and over again. You get the idea that these little things he's doing, people are kind of astonished that we're getting it from this. What in my mind. The voice, not necessarily Vin Diesel's voice, but the voice as written seems to come from kind of like a schlubby guy.
So who from The Sopranos? Who's not that attractive?
Sopranos?
Like Steve Sharippa, like the guy who plays Bobby Bacala. Like a guy like that, right?
Yeah, but in that vein, a
schlub.
A schlub. Vin Diesel, no matter how much
that's fair.
No matter how much padding you put on him and how badly you put the hair up, which by the way, I think the hair looks good. Honestly,
I think the hair looks fine.
I think it's a good makeup. But no matter what you do in that direction with Vin Diesel, you're still seeing a monster under there who's like the most intimidating thing in the room, right? Like
he's still Vin Diesel.
Yeah, and that character needed to be the guy that when you're scanning across the room, you never see him because he's just,
without The Sopranos, you could have had James Gandolfini play this role. You could have had James Gandolfini play this role with The Sopranos, even, really. I mean, again, that's the whole thing about James Gandolfini as Tony Soprano, right? Is like, no matter how sexy women find him, no matter how charismatic he is, he still doesn't look like Sonny Corleone.
No, he's certainly not.
And that's the point.
Yeah,
that's the point.
Right.
None of those.
And I'm not saying Vin Diesel is like so attractive.
No, but to your point, he is miscast because he's Vin Diesel. It would be like casting Arnold Schwarzenegger in this role and expecting us to get over the fact.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger could give a once in a lifetime performance like that. You can go like,
just like Junior.
He was a really good actor, but it's like it didn't serve the movie, so it's a fail. Like my problems with this movie. Vin Diesel's miscasting is one of them, but that's actually very far down on the list. Vin Diesel is not the problem in this movie. Sidney Lumet is the problem in this movie, which I know people are probably like shooting arrows at me from across the interwebosphere right now. But like Sidney Lumet directed 12 Angry Men. This is a courtroom drama, and it should have been awesome. The problem is 12 Angry Men was a genius stage play, and this was a screenplay slapped together by three guys who have things I honestly don't know what they're trying to say with this other than as a slice of life thing, because if it is this sort of like you never knew who can like save the day kind of a thing, like they undercut it by casting an action hero in their role. Fair,
yeah.
Or like I thought it was hilarious at one point in this movie. Like he discredits a guy on the thing by like laying into Italian stereotypes. Meanwhile, every time we cut to Vin Diesel, Louis Prima is singing when you're smiling. It's the same song over and over again. It's like all the depictions of the Italians. Look, it's not sort of like aggressively offensive or anything, but like it's a little borderline.
As an Italian myself, I'm not sure I'm offended, but to be fair, while I was watching the movie, I had my little monkey on my organ grinder that I was playing, and I was singing the Tarantella. So I mean, what do I know? And I was also stomping on grapes. So what do I really know?
Now get back in your gondola and leave.
Yeah, please. Go back to the fucking island, you boot-heeled freak. I think I wanted to like this movie. I really did.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot to recommend it. It's a lot to recommend.
It's not bad,
as far as an underdog story goes.
Sure. It's you know what it is? We talked about The Sopranos already a little bit. This doesn't get made without The Sopranos being popular.
Oh, no.
It's like it also feels... How do you say Sopranos adjacent, Goodfellas adjacent? It's trying to be that. The dialogue is written in such a kind of quick, smart way. Everybody thinks they're so fucking smart when they talk. Why you get so fucking fresh, as our good friend Mr. Billy Batts, Phil Leotardo, Frank Vincent would say, but
shockingly not in this movie.
Right. Where's he at? Where's Frank Vincent at?
He was working on The Sopranos at the time.
Yeah, that's the thing. There are people here that just are in The Sopranos that are in this, but like the big people aren't in this, obviously, because they're working on The Sopranos. It's okay. It's okay. It's interesting because it has Vin Diesel in it. Otherwise, I'm not sure anyone would really have batted an eye. It's weird. It's worth checking out and talking about because of Vin Diesel's casting. And in bringing us to it because of Vin Diesel's casting, there are things to talk about. But like, I think this would have just been... I'm not sure anyone would have been... We wouldn't be talking about this right now without Vin Diesel being in it, right?
No. No. You know what? Maybe we would if the casting had been correct.
Okay, so who's correct then?
Literally any schlubby, little guy who could have swayed an entire jury to allow 9 or 10 murderers to go free.
So they can't. So essentially, you're saying maybe they were just trying to do something in the vein of My Cousin Vinny as well, and it
something like that.
Joe Pesci, right? Like
kind of like that. Yeah. I mean, a little more, nuanced maybe, but yeah. Like,
I mean, I like My Cousin Vinny.
I'm not saying it's not worth liking. I'm just saying it's a little broad.
Marissa Tomei won the Academy Award, so we're
in the broadest performance I've ever seen in my life, and I love Marissa Tomei. She's good in it. She's the best thing in that movie.
Yeah. Oh, Fred Gwynn is the best thing about it.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Fred Gwynn is the best thing in everything. I watched The Cotton Club again last night. Jesus
Francis
Christ.
Ford Coppola's The Cotton Club.
Well, of course.
He would prefer to be referred to it by that name.
Well, I'm not talking about the actual Cotton Club. I wasn't there. I'm talking about that movie with Fred Gwynn, and Fred Gwynn is so good in it. He's so good.
Everything.
Yeah, man.
Would Joe Pesci, if this movie had been made in the 90s, would you have cast Joe Pesci in the lead role?
No. A very decent character actor should play this part.
Yeah, Ray Liotta.
No, even he's too intense. Like Steve Buscemi,
I don't know. Steve Buscemi's pretty intense when he gives.
He can be, but I would believe him as the guy that everyone's just like, oh my god, just shut your mouth, you dummy. You're fucking it all up. And then he's the fucking turning tide, that would have been interesting.
He's got to make an appeal to his emotions. It's so fucking ham-fisted. It's so ham-fisted. And it's so like you said, slice of life. Oh, the gangster's gonna represent himself and make a mockery of the American court system. That is an interesting idea. And they go
and they
nowhere
did it
with it.
Right, and that whole this is a circus sort of idea. Like
The Godfather does it better in the second movie.
The courtroom is circus.
Yeah, where it's like, here's this, here's my what is it? Frank Pentangeli's dad is here. That whole thing where it's like all just for a show.
Yeah, dude, they don't need to look. This movie must have seemed like a fucking slam dunk.
Mm-hmm. I know that's
in the time of the
feels.
Sopranos, and it was like we've got Vin Diesel. It's Sidney Lumet who made Dog Day Afternoon and fucking Serpico.
He worked with Pacino twice.
Yeah, man, and he's doing a gangster movie in New York City, and it's a period piece. We got it all. No, we don't have it all. Okay, let's start talking technically. This movie is ugly. It is an ugly movie.
It's very brown.
It is not only very brown. This is the most frequent thing we discuss whenever I'm around. Set bound.
Oh my god! The place where
looks like a set. Everyone looks like they're wearing a costume. Nothing looks real. Even when they're outside on a real location, it's shot so like flat. I'm boggled. Like the cinematographer now mainly works in television. He belongs there. That's what I kept thinking when I was watching this movie. It's like this looks like a
episode of Law and Order.
Of Law and Order, like a not even dynamically directed episode of Law and Order.
Like early 2000s Law and Order.
It is so statically shot. And takes go on and on and on, where characters are doing nothing in the frame, man. Like, I don't want to watch Vin Diesel thinking. I don't need to.
Is it weird that we're talking about a Peter Dinklage movie right now, too? Boy.
He's great in it.
Yeah, he's great in it, but I just don't understand why.
I don't either.
I don't get it. Like,
I was happy he was there.
He's a great actor, but like,
yeah. I mean, there's some good performances in this, but in Alex Rocco in particular, I just love Alex Rocco.
Right. So menacing without having
that guy. That's the thing, man. I'm talking about The Godfather. We're talking about Mo Green right here. He's like a really funny comedic actor, but can also bring the menace. That's rare, that combination, I think.
Yeah.
He's real good. Anyway, so the look of the movie is just utterly just I don't know. It just looks like a sitcom to me. Like
it looks very much of the time and place when it was shot and made mid 2000s. Like I think of other things around that time, and it's like this looks very similar to a lot of other set bound stuff. That courtroom where this takes place, in what universe?
Yeah, I don't know. And then
the Marvel Cinematic Universe, for fuck's sake, because that's the only place where a courtroom of that size exists. It's not in this country. Even in the biggest courtrooms you've seen, they're not this big. This is like they turned a fucking like an amphitheater into a courtroom.
Yeah,
and blocked off one wall to say that this is the outside. Like, no, it's not. Come on.
Look, man. I can think back on a movie like Dog Day Afternoon, and there are scenes in that movie where you can smell the sweat on the actors. It's all so real. And then I was watching the opening scene of this movie where the cousin character comes in to try and kill Vin Diesel's character. And it's like, look at this guy in a costume that they just spritzed with a little water right before he walked onto this set. It was so depressing. They probably, Sidney Lumet probably didn't get the kind of money he wanted, and they probably had to shoot on a tighter schedule or something, but like, take the time and light your fucking movie. You made Serpico, motherfucker.
I agree.
I don't understand it. It's like, I think about this, and this is a weird comparison to make, but kind of apt in a way. Like, I think about Blues Brothers and Blues Brothers 2000, and I think about that first movie, and it is so gritty and fucking gorgeous. And then I think about that sequel made 30 years later by the same people, and suddenly everyone's on a sound stage, and it's like lit so they can just keep turning the camera around so they can get through their day quicker. Well, why are you even bothering? Don't bother. Sorry.
And I agree. I don't understand this way of lighting a set, or even constructing a set or designing a set. It looks so fake. And maybe that's the point. But it looks fake in a way that it's like, this can't exist in reality. It could only exist as a set. And I've seen trees fighting giant purple fucking aliens that looks more real than this set.
Absolutely believed, right?
I've seen a tree played by Vin Diesel fighting shit that looks more real than this set. Okay? All right? That's where we are now. And they had a Marvel budget. I get it, but come on. You don't have to have...
Come on.
It's just... okay. It's also set-bound. But look like this.
Very set-bound.
The prison doesn't even look real. It looks like a set. Like, Jesus.
The prison looks terrible. And, okay, now, and... Let's talk about the script for a minute here, because like what we mentioned earlier, I don't understand what the movie is trying to say. Is this a send up of our judicial system where, it's gotten this insane and it's turned into a circus? Was that what they were driving at? Or was this a sad sack makes good story? Or okay. Putting aside that I don't understand their point in even making the movie.
I mean, it's the longest case in American history, the longest trial in American history. Which,
right? Okay,
it's a story worth telling, but
yes, there's a lot to recommend the story.
Right, I would think that there'd be a more interesting way of telling this story than focusing on. I don't know. I feel like the Jackie DiNorscio character could be a part of a movie. Doesn't have to be the entire focus.
No, I remember like the movie is almost over. Like they've read the verdict, and some of these characters I've been watching for 2 hours start talking, and I'm like, oh yeah, these guys are all friends, right? I don't think I've seen them really say anything to each other this entire film. Like, I don't need to have a movie where we explore the inner lives of the nine other people who are on trial with him, but it would be nice to know that there was some sort of community there with these guys. Like,
right, right.
Not going to give them anything.
One of the people that Jackie DiNorscio probably ran around with was Paul Vario of Goodfellas. Like,
yeah, right.
Yeah, there's a lot going on that it's just like...
And it's all, and it's a bottle movie. It's all takes place inside the courtroom. I got that, And there's ways you can make that interesting. Like, say, I don't know, 50 years earlier when he made 12 Angry Men.
Yeah.
So, there's no excuse for this movie not to be electric. Because there is a lot to recommend. The story is interesting. That guy was kind of an interesting kook, and this did happen, and they all got off. And
he totally conned a jury out of sending murderers to jail.
Right.
I mean, he charmed them, right? I mean, he's a charm.
Did charm them, yeah. Right? and that's kind of the other thing. Like, and maybe this is. I think Vin Diesel is a charming guy, but I don't think he could charm people. I think he just is a charming person. You know what I mean? He doesn't have that gift of gab that makes you want to keep listening to him. You want to listen to him because he's got a cool voice. Yeah, that's fair. Like in the scenes where he's sort of like, not putting one over on the jury, but sort of like luring them into seeing, like, I'm a regular guy and, you should be this is crazy. Let me go home kind of a thing. Like, those don't always land with me with Vin Diesel. And I think, like, even somebody like Steve Buscemi, I bet could have been a little more charming in that,
Not endearing as he needs to be.
Right. And again, that's not Vin Diesel's fault. That's part of the miscasting I was mentioning earlier, where that this particular character, as written, called for a guy who seems as if he's a total loser, but can charm you, beyond anything. Like, obviously, this guy was like a captain.
Yeah. If they just wanted to cast someone who, again, if you look at what Jackie DiNorscio looks like, also doesn't look like Vin Diesel. What a shocker. You know who they could have cast in 06 that I feel like at the time, not anymore, but at the time, Robert Downey Jr.
Really?
Kiss, Bang, Bang. I mean, he's kind of playing a schmucky schlub in that movie. But that's the thing. Like, I don't think of him that way any more than you do. I think of him as like a cool ass operator. Like, he's a cool dude.
Yeah, right.
Like, it's like, but again,
than him now.
In 06,
the days of Robert Downey Jr. character acting are gone.
Yeah, the days of Robert Downey Jr. playing the villain in the Shaggy Dog arc are long past.
Yeah, man, you're David Niven now. Sorry.
Yeah, it's one of those things where he's very very appreciative of where he is now, I'm sure. The hard times are over, boys. Yeah. I remember it thinking, like, in the, like, 2006, 2007, like, they should cast Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man just because he looked like the ultimate version from the comic. Yeah. He looked like the ultimate version from the comic.
Right.
Like, dead to rights.
Totally.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't do a little bit of drawing and looking like that guy.
But, like, he could have done this movie at the time. But, again, you have to put yourself in the headspace of 06 Robert Downey Jr., not Iron Man, not Tony Stark, not him, just Tony Stark all the time now. So, yeah. It's a fun enough movie, but it does kind of exist as this weird vestigial tale of a time where mobster stuff was back in a big way. Because it was like the early 90s with Goodfellas, and then it had a little bit of a lull. Nobody gave a shit about Casino. We've discussed that, even though Casino's great. And then 99, this new show, Sopranos. Obviously, Sopranos takes like what do you think? 3 years to kind of really get going mainstream.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like 02, and this movie comes out 4 years later, right as the show is ending. The show ends in 06. Right. So
yeah, and when he got out of jail, so 2002 he got out of jail.
Right.
Which I'm sure was news, and then somebody went, "Oh my God, we can make this! This is a perfect story."
Gangster tangential, brother.
Yeah.
The real question is, do you like this or Mickey Blue Eyes more?
Oof. This.
I like Mickey Blue Eyes.
I know you did.
I know. It's okay. I mean, hey, it's not terrible. It's funny to watch it and see all the Sopranos actors in that are just like slumming it right before they all hit it big. Let's face it, any gangster movie in the past 30 years, we're going to see some Sopranos actors in it. Like, you just can't get over, That's fair. Yeah, because Tony Sirico's in the, with the opening 20 of Goodfellas.
Yeah, a lot of them are in Goodfellas, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I'm curious then, what is kind of, because we've never talked about them, but what is kind of your mafia film of choice? It's not this one. It's not Find Me Guilty, folks.
No, it's not. The best gangster movie of all time is clearly Mobsters with Christian Slater.
Oh, my God.
And Patrick Dempsey and...
Is that the one with where the poster just looks hilarious?
They're all, it's Young Guns, but they're in pinstripe suits.
Right, yeah. Which is exactly the way the poster tries to sell it. My
favorite gangster movie of all time is
The fact that you left Costas Mandylor out is just bumming me out.
You know what? I was about to say him, and that's when I started laughing because I thought, you're really going to say Costas Mandylor on this podcast and prove what a film nerd you are, but I'm glad you said it.
We used to have a joke where people would say his name really strangely because, the only other time we've talked about him is in the Saw movies, so... Costas Mandylor.
Mandylor. I liked him
in his brother.
I actually liked him in Mobsters, and I liked him in Mafia, Jane Austen's Mafia.
That's not him in Mafia.
That's not him as the dad?
That's
in the flashbacks?
No. That's his brother. I'm not even joking. His brother's named like Frank Mandylor or something. Like.
Oh well, his brother's better than him. He is.
Louis Mandylor. They look very similar.
They do, man. But I think Louis Mandylor's a better looking guy. Okay. Favorite gangster movie of all time is probably The Roaring Twenties. If that's going way back, that's a James Cagney film that I absolutely adore. If you want like sort of modern gangster.
Sure. I was asking just in general. I'm just always looking for good ones to watch that aren't just, Goodfellas or Casino on repeat.
Yeah, definitely that one. Clearly Godfather. I mean, all the classics. Yes. I watch all those. Trying to think of sort of.
You like The Godfather?
It's a really good mafia film is a movie called Sugar Hill. If you haven't seen that one, check that out. Oh yeah, Sugar Hill. Good flick.
What is? I've seen him. Is that the one with the? That's not. No, I'm thinking of something else. It's not the one with the zombies, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the movie that I watched for the projection booth.
Yeah, it's
You're talking about the blaxploitation mob movie, right?
Yeah, man.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I've seen that movie. That movie's good. I was like, are you talking about the same thing? That's
a spectacular film. Not enough people have seen that movie.
But they talk about it on the projection booth. Surprising?
No, because he'll get to them all eventually.
Will he get to find me guilty?
I hope so. And I hope he doesn't call.
Right. Please, we have no
because I don't want to do research more than watching the movie on this particular movie.
That's fair. But it is an Alex Rocco movie, so it kind of puts itself in a different spot.
Yeah. Look, there's nothing wrong with this movie. It is a very good made-for-television movie. Is what
competently made.
Yeah. There are really there's seems to be like no stakes, like there seems to be no gravity at all in this movie, like no sort of moral compass at all, really.
No, I mean the entire conceit of the movie is kind of nuts, and it does this weird thing where I think Vin Diesel is very charming. I think Peter Dinklage is very charming. I think several of the actors in the cast are very charming, and then several of the actors are so unappealing that I want to stop watching the movie. Linus Roach, for whatever reason, he's in that camp for me. I look at him and I just want to punch him in the face. Like, I don't like that guy. And I know he's the villain here, so like maybe that's good casting, but he's so sniveling. The villain, who is also coincidentally a Supreme Court justice in real life.
So, the real guy is?
Yeah, Samuel Alito is who that character is.
That was Samuel Alito. Oh, how funny, man. Well, okay, maybe they were trying to take a jab at him.
Where's the Giuliani character of this movie? That's what I was... I mean, they have him in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I expected... I don't know if I expected more, but I expected something a little bit better than what we got, which was a very neutered, for an R-rated movie too. It felt rather neutered, very just.
Yeah, I mean, they said fuck a bunch of times. So
yeah, this R-rated. Fucking guy, that fucking guy. Like, all right.
Yeah, it didn't really feel
fuck
like
a bunch of times doesn't mean anything. Like, sorry.
Yeah, it didn't feel like violent or scary or sexual or anything. Like, I mean, I guess that opening scene was a little much, but. Wasn't too much.
A lot of CGI bullet shots.
No, there were not. Those were all practical.
Sure. Does it really matter?
Those are practical. It's 2004. Sidney Lumet. There was somebody on set with Squibb's brother.
Hey.
Did you ever see Dog Day Afternoon?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God. What?
I watched this before I watched Dog Day Afternoon. Isn't that depressing?
Now watch that and you'll go, oh, I understand why people mention Sidney Lumet in a good light.
Oh, I believe and completely understand why. I mean, I saw 12 Angry Men when I was in high school. But
because they made you.
I guess, but I enjoyed it.
That's a good movie.
Yeah. I like Raul Esparza in this. I haven't seen him in enough stuff. I mean, I just think about him from Hannibal. That's pretty much it. But he's okay as kind of the only other character who's given a lot of screen time, and by that another scene. Annabella Sciorra is only in this movie for one scene. A lot of the characters, like Alex Rocco, is in the movie a lot, but he's only in it for like 4 lines of dialogue.
Right, but they're good.
Right, but you can count how much he's in it by his amount of dialogue he has. It's very strange.
Man. He gets this. He got a plum roll here. He just got to like sit around and eat.
Right,
like it's pretty good, man.
We need everybody on set. You mean the fucking buffet? You. Like, yeah, pretty much. Like, Jesus Christ.
Now, I don't know if this is apocryphal or not about Alex Rocco. I believe this is true. Now, Alex Rocco grew up in Charlestown, Massachusetts. If you look him up, it'll say Cambridge. It's not. He was in Charlestown. And Alex Rocco was part of the sort of lower echelon mafia in Boston. And then he took off like to get away from them. They were all like, whatever happened to him? And then like they went to a movie and they saw him in the movie, and it might have even been The Godfather. Like, oh my God, that's Alex Rocco. Like that. Like his old gangster buddies. He ends up playing them in movies forever.
Glad we didn't whack that one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's weird to talk about characters and the amounts of dialogue that they have, but that's kind of where this movie is. Almost the lion's share of the film is given to Vin Diesel.
Yeah, too much.
Like, the lines even are given to him. Few characters say... It's weird, like, thinking back on the movie, it's him and Peter Dinklage are given almost, like, all of the lines.
And Peter Dinklage's characters' lines aren't even all that great. I'm sure, look, they make pains at the beginning to let us know that most of the court dialogue is from the transcripts. So
directly from the transcripts.
Right. But it does suffer a little bit. And this is circling back about, you needed a more charming person than Vin Diesel, like in the role, that it's like Star Wars humor. Like you watch Star Wars movies and somebody makes a joke and people laugh and you go like, ha ha ha, like that was funny, I guess. Like,
right.
Like, oh, I see. Like
characters you don't understand humor, laughing at things that aren't funny.
It's in the structure of a joke, so you go like, okay, I get that was supposed to be a funny moment. Like that's what it felt like whenever Vin Diesel was in charm mode, and the people were like chuckling and like, oh, isn't he adorable? I just kept thinking like nothing he's saying is interesting. He gets up and starts with that lame joke about his wife's twat, like in the
Jesus Christ,
this belongs to the butcher. Like I was just like, I guess he must have done that, the guy, but like Vin Diesel doing it makes me think like, what are you doing? Sit down.
Hey, I'm talking about my wife's pussy, huh?
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
I have concluded my opening statements. Like, I don't know. They should have, this movie either needed to like, once they cast Vin Diesel, it should have like, they should have changed direction in some way. Like they should have made it crazier. I don't know.
It's I felt like at the end of that story, you should have been like, and don't forget to tip your waiter. Good night, folks.
Yeah.
It's
Shaky Green. No, they called him that the next day. It was like, we got Shaky Green out there. Like the thing is like, okay, it's funny because the court transcript dialogue feels fake.
Right. It feels out of place.
Yeah.
But it's real. Like, it is real. It's stranger than fiction, as one might say.
Right.
Isn't it crazy this guy was talking about his wife's pussy in court? Like,
right.
You know what? You know what it probably is? It probably doesn't feel that bombastic anymore. Like, there's also that. Like, what a quaint time that's all people were talking about in court.
Like, that's the thing. It's like, to Sidney Lumet, like, I'm sure he was thinking, like, wow, yes, like, could you believe somebody was doing this in court? And it's like, after And Justice for All came out in the 70s, like that type of picture, you got to be doing some crazy motherfucking shit in that courtroom in order to show us what a circus a courtroom can be. Like, there's some nuance in just showing things as they were, I guess, but like not like this. It's the tone of this movie never takes shape. The pacing just seems languorous. It's overly long. Like, as long as the trial, the difference between you and me and the jury on this in this particular story, they got paid to sit there this long and watch this trial, man. Jesus Christ, it goes on and on. I don't know.
At the end, they all hug and kiss. The mobsters, they're just part of our community. They eat the same gabagool as us. The same prosciutto and mozzarella's on my table that's on theirs. Oh, it's such quaint nonsense. Like, fucking get out of here.
I agree with
Pass around the plates of antipasto while you're at it. Oh, like, fucking come on. Guys, come on.
And then my favorite part of the entire movie, they bring him back to prison where he basically gets a standing O from the Gen Pop.
Yeah.
You know?
Jackie DiNorscio, and he's like, they love me.
It. You're still in here for 30 years. We can't believe what a champion you is.
You know what they say? Never rat on your friends, Henry. Don't rat on your friends, Henry.
Yeah.
Hey, this is what happens when you don't rat. You sit in jail for 30 years and you fucking rot. Okay? Henry Hill had it right. Henry Hill was right. Ain't gonna if the push comes to shove, they're gonna fucking rat on you too. So who rats first?
The end of this movie should have been a Futurama type sting, like, remember, don't rat.
I mean, that's what this movie is don't rat, and if you're a criminal, as long as you can woo the jury, you're not going to jail. Well, you're going back to jail. Right. Find me guilty. Find me guilty. Like, what is that? That's not how, it's not the transitive property, motherfucker. You don't just go, well, their crimes are mine now because I said it. Like, no.
How much of it was that he charmed the jury, and how much of it was the jury after 2 years was like, what can we do to get out of here the quickest?
Right. They were like, you know what? The government has been wasting our time.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been my stance. Like, fucking, I don't give a shit. Like, this is a fucking monumental waste of time.
Right, because this is a RICO case, right? It's not like specific murder charge, right?
They were just like, together.
We want to indict them on this other thing that encapsulates a bunch of shit and put them away for a long time. And they were like, oh, I'm so tired. I just want to see my kids.
So here's what happened in the 80s. The mafia got turned into a bunch of rats, and they were paid by the U.S. government to continue to commit crimes as the trials were put together for RICO cases so that they could send, like a couple hundred dudes to jail, maybe, for a while. I mean, this character essentially would be getting out with Tony Blundetto and all those dudes in The Sopranos. That's what they were talking about, where all the dudes who got popped in the 80s coming back. Phil Leotardo, all those dudes.
Yeah.
So that's also where man, anybody could have done this better, but I don't even know if that's true. Because this story is just so muddle-headed from the fucking jump. It's not funny, but it is funny at times. It's not good, but it's not great. It's just okay. And you need to be more than that anymore. Like,
it never finds a voice of what it wants it to be, other than, like I said, like sort of this slice of life thing, and that's fine. But that ain't a movie. Make it a miniseries,
And how can you write mobster characters like this in a post Goodfellas and Sopranos world too? Like, writing them this stupid and unrealistic. Like,
yeah,
it's just, again, it smacks of people who don't understand characters that they're writing, and they don't understand how to write characters with nuance. Because I'm sure the real Jackie DiNorscio was a much more nuanced human being than the Vin Diesel talking about his wife's pussy. Like,
yeah, and if we're gonna have two scenes with two characters who the opening is one trying to murder the other, and then the other one is effectively forgiving him on the stand. Shouldn't we have seen a little bit more interaction of those two characters? Maybe one flashback, instead of just
told through dialogue.
Him just going like, "Don't worry, he's my cousin. We grew up together." Like,
he's a junkie, but I love it.
Hey, I don't know if anyone knows this, but you're making a movie, and this is a visual medium. Like, you can show us these things. We don't
Annabelle
necessarily.
Skira, only one scene. Sorry. Right. It's again. I've met the roles in this movie are not measured by scenes as much as they're measured by lines of dialogue, because so little happens outside of Vin Diesel just going, "I'm a gangster." Da da da. Like, it's not bad, because again, Vin Diesel is such a charming guy, but it could have been a lot more than this. It could have.
Yeah. It is. I'd like to stress again, it's not even that it's Vin Diesel's doing that thing. It's that they've written that character that way. And that's, and all of the characters.
Vin Diesel's just being asked to do it.
Yeah. The script is poor. Right. If you just gave me transcripts of the trial, I would have a better time. Like, or an audio book where Peter Dinklage reads one part and, Vin Diesel reads, just that would be fine. But like, right. I'm not sure why I needed to see this as a movie. Like, I didn't take anything away from this.
Reading.
Yeah. The table reading must have been awesome for this. That would have been, film that and show it to me, because it would have been more dynamically directed than the movie that we got. Jesus, I feel like I'm skewering poor Sidney Lumet here, but like,
It's late stages, Sidney.
Yeah, man. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I get it. I get it. I've seen late stages Scorsese, man. Like, I've seen The Irishman. I get tonally inconsistent and all over the place. Like, I don't need to see a 3-hour movie to know that movie is tonally inconsistent. But I've seen a 2-hour movie and it's very tonally inconsistent as well.
Did you see Bridge of Spies? What are you doing, Steven?
I don't know.
You made Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, Scorsese made Goodfellas and Taxi Driver and everything else, and here we are with the 3-hour Irishman. Yeah. So skip it or watch it.
Oh, you know what? I'd say watch it. I think as interminable as the movie is, I think Vin Diesel. I think if you have only ever seen Vin Diesel as an action guy, I think the phenomenon you describe, after about 10 or 15 minutes of watching him in this movie, you kind of that drifts away, and then you get an actual character played by an actual skilled actor, as miscast as he is in this particular part. He's not the worst thing in the movie. Check the movie out for him and for Peter Dinklage, and for a lot of those character actors, actually, and for some of the transcripts, because all the drama that was fictionalized is just sort of the stuff we've seen 1 million times. That scene with him and his wife in the cell was the most boring thing I've ever seen. How many times have we seen a wife asking her in jail husband about that? It was just, anyway, skip it. No, see it for Vin Diesel, but skip it if you already know Vin Diesel is better than who he's portrayed.
Yeah, I would say watch it because of the Vin Diesel performance, but it's almost the only thing. I mean, there's some great actors, but they're not given much to do.
No.
And that's a shame, because you have, like we said, Annabella Sciorra, Alex Rocco, Vin Diesel and Peter Dinklage are both great in a lot of things that they're in. But it's just a strange, weird little movie of a time gone away where you could make movies like this and release them in theaters.
Yeah. That was the shocking part of this. To think that this was expected to draw crowds of people to sit and watch in movie theaters. Like I said, this is television entertainment at best.
Yeah, I agree. So on that note, that is the end of Comedy Mafia Month. So we'll take a break. We'll play a preview for the first episode of, we'll just call it Begley February. So yeah, next month we're going to be talking about Now You See 'Em, Now You Don't, a film that stars Ed Begley Jr. and Kurt Russell.
That movie stars Kurt Russell. Ed Begley is a minor character in that film.
Well, hey.
But he's good in it. He's real good in it. He's really good. Ed Begley is always really good. And seeing him that young is a shock. He's got like long floppy hair and stuff. I love that movie. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to watching it. And the entire month of next month is programmed by our good friend, Mr. Mark Begley. So it's a little ego stroke, I guess. I don't know. Begley's in the movies, brother, I guess. Who knows? But until then, Father Malone, where can people find you on the internet?
Check me out at fathermalone.com. That is a link tree where you can find my podcast, Dark Destinations. That's a half-hour radio drama that I write and produce. There's also links to my YouTube channel and the other podcasts that I do. You can hear, I don't know what, Dreams for Sale? We do that one, right?
Yeah, we do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, we do a bunch of stuff. So, fathermalone.com.
As for me, cstachiw.com, cstachiw.com. I have to spell it out because Father Malone and Mike told me one time I should. And they're right, I should. So now I do.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because, wait, you don't know how to spell my last name? Shocking. Most people don't. But yeah, that's where you can find, like Father Malone said, a lot of stuff that I work on with him. He's been on some episodes of Scary Stories We Tell, talk about some weird stuff. But yeah, cstachiw.com as for this show. Culturecast.com, patreon.com/culturecast for Patreon stuff. If you're into it, cool. If not, it's 2022. I get it. People are struggling. So don't give me your money. Put it in your own pocket and do whatever the fuck you want with it. Because I'm not going to stop making this show just because I'm not getting money. What is that? That's not the real artist, right, Father Malone? Do you stop because you're not? You get paid? Who pays you to make Dark Destinations?
0 people.
But yeah, and Father Malone, thank you as much. Thank you as always for joining me.
Yes, sir.
and we will catch you on the next episode.